one of my favorite funny things that I say about filming is like, if you become a filmographer, do a lot of curls.
Yeah,
If,
heck yeah.
if you don't do a lot of curls, that camera, even though you look at it and you pick it up at first, you're like, man, this ain't that heavy. But dude, after about an hour,
Yeah.
you're tormenting your arms, dude.
I'm super excited for another episode of The Humble Dose, episode 3. And this one is an exciting one because I got somebody here that hit me up, said he was in town. He's one of the Alaska homies, somebody that I went to church with, somebody that I connected with, somebody that's I find inspiring because he's got a great attitude. He's got an amazing story. So without further ado, I just want to introduce my boy, Brent.
What's
Yeah.
up?
What's happening, man? Cheers. You got a
Yes.
creepy cup?
I got a creep though, just spilled on there.
Oh man, that's it.
But
That's why we can't have nice things, man.
the Alaska coming out on me. Yeah, that is a creepy Mickey Mouse, dude.
Yeah. So,
Anyway,
how you doing, dude?
I'm doing good.
We went and had coffee on Saturday. We met at the Black Rock and just hung out and caught up a little bit. And then we met coffee. Well, when was that? Like
It was
a year ago, 2 years ago?
a year ago.
Year ago.
Yeah.
And you were here talking about moving here, but then I was like, oh, then I see you're still still in Alaska. I was like, I don't know if he's coming or not. We went to the same church, heart of the city. We connected there. You're doing a lot for the church, and you're pretty much like one thing that stuck out for me was the fact that you know the Bible pretty well, man. Like you're in tune with scripture, like you're solid in the Bible, but other facets of different types of religion, because you were just saying you've studied up on multiple different types
Yeah.
of religions.
So funny take, right? So funny take. When I was a teenager, not so completely not with the Lord at all, right? I was chasing after a girl.
That's how it all starts.
I know, right? And she was in the LDS church, and like I was trying to get on her parents' good side. It never worked out, by the way.
Yeah.
So I like get baptized LDS, go to LDS church, and I start learning a lot about their doctrine and their theology and stuff. And like even as a teenager, it kind of creeped me out. Still love you, my Mormon brothers, but it creeped me out. And then like I was totally done with religion altogether at that point in my mind.
I mean, I know you, but I don't really know you. I mean, I know some of your story,
Yeah.
but why don't we take us back? Like, tell me a little bit about who you are, where you came from, where you grew up, and all that stuff. You don't mind. And you don't have to get into anything that you don't want to get
I told you I'm an open book. I
Yeah.
will. Before we even started this, I'm an open book. So I was born in Anchorage, Alaska, and my mom.
That's dope. Not a lot of people can say they're born and raised. You know what I mean?
But my mom liked to remind me every day of my life, or every year of my life, I should say, on my birthday. I was born on March 28th in 1979, right? At exactly the date and time the 3 Mile Island had its meltdown.
Oh.
And she always liked to remind me of that for some reason. I've adopted that and said I just like to come in with a bang. But I grew up, and I want to lead this with this caveat because I know my dad will end up watching this.
Yeah.
My dad and I have a very awesome relationship now, but he was very much a workaholic, and I know he has wrestled with that a lot. And so, but the point of that is I didn't really have him around, and it was just basically my brothers and me, and then I have a sister, but she was raised in Utah with my grandparents, and we never really understood why. Later in life, we found out why. But our house was not that functional.
Right.
Um, We always got in fights, and people say, oh, that's brotherly love, but I mean, it got brutal, man.
Right.
Like heads going through walls and like broken noses and just violent. And I, as the youngest, which I hate to admit, but I am, as the youngest, and I see it in my own daughter too. We are more emotional than most, and I didn't know how to accept it, and I had to learn how to be violent back, um, and then by the time I was 11, this is the scary part. We flew down to Utah to meet up with my grandparents, and it was my brother Casey, myself, my brother Justin stayed back. We hooked up with a couple of my cousins from Utah and my grandparents, and we were planning to drive out to Florida for a family reunion. Well, Casey and I convinced my mom that we wanted to go sleep down at my sister's house, and she was married to a guy named Clint, and this guy was an alcoholic. I mean, he had this big glass case of just nothing but hard liquor. And I remember that was the first time I ever drank alcohol was at 11. And the scary part about that is it didn't stop until um, I didn't quit drinking until I was 16 years old, no, 31.
Dang.
And it got, my brother and I started to get real close, but that wasn't exactly my brother Casey and I started getting really close. That wasn't exactly the coolest thing. I mean, it was cool then, but now you have like hindsight, you know what I mean, 2020. It wasn't that good of a thing because that dude lived like a rock star, but he didn't have a band. That went into other hard narcotics. My brother ended up getting into the heroin. I ended up sticking with, cocaine and speed. And we just became two train wrecks trying to navigate life together. And that was pretty much like my youth, was just party.
Those that don't know, and there are a lot that understand, Alaska's a tough place, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Alaska's a tough place to live in. It's a tough place to grow up. What I try to tell people, especially like when I was a kid, like the only reason you had something to do was you were getting into trouble. I mean, that was legitimately
Yeah.
what occupied our time, was we were just running amok, man. And I think, I'm a few years older than you, but not by much. That generation of kids were like latchkey kids that just were running the streets, just causing all kinds of mayhem. That's just how we got down, man. And Alaska was just a crazy place for that to grow up as kids. And
I'm glad you brought this up because I was thinking about this, and this is something.
Go ahead, you can keep going.
There's something that I really disagree with a lot of people, and you see like these big buff guys on like Instagram and whatnot, and they're like, no regret. You can't have any regrets. But I disagree.
Yeah.
I think regret handled appropriately is actually healthy. And I know there's controversy behind it, and all you theological keyboard warriors, stay away. Paul talks about having a thorn in his side.
Yeah.
And like it was a reminder to him. And I think regret used in the right context, not like it dominates your life, you know what I mean? But that reminder of where you were is a good thing.
Yeah. I guess at what point did like that become enough? I know they usually say I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Like at what point were you just like sick and tired, and when God really started to make moves? I mean, God's always making moves, but when did you start realizing, oh, like God is in control, I'm not?
That's an awesome question. So I can tell you the date, September 6th, 2007. my oldest daughter was being born. I was living in Kansas at the time, in Olathe, a little suburb of Kansas City. Um, she was up in Shawnee Mission Medical Center, and I was still, at this time, I was a functioning drug addict, right? And I remember I was so upset as an atheist at God. And I know those atheist keyboard warriors were like, "You're never a true atheist." Okay, but there's no such thing as atheists. Take that, atheist. But I remember specifically, dude, I got trashed, dude. I can still tell you, like, I so a friend of mine that was rooming with me, he had Tylenol 3, the codeines, and he had some Percocets, and I remember popping like 4 of each and drinking like 5 beers and taking a couple shots of whiskey. And I got up to the hospital, and at that time they had security, but the rules of the security is that if you weren't being belligerent or if you weren't causing a scene, they really legally can't do anything to you, but they can call the county sheriff's department. And God, you are going to make me tear up. I remember walking in to the delivery room, and my daughter was born. The first time in my life I had something more important than me that was directly under my responsibility. And I remember in my rage, because I was rageful, I was so angry at a God I didn't believe existed, which I still find hilarious. I felt this warm hug around me, dude. I can't even explain it. Coming from a background of only going to church as a kid on Christmas and Easter, because my dad was born and raised a Roman Catholic, and so we would go to Mass on Christmas and Easter and never really asked any questions, never really got really in depth. And the only other experience I had with any type of other form of religion was, LDS Church. I didn't know where to start. And that's what birthed my whole, like seeking of religion. And for some reason, I never wanted to go to Christianity, dude, like ever. Like for some reason, I was like the last pit effort. And I had so many questions, right? And there's still things I struggle with now, like, what about evolution? And we have scientific, evidence of it. We have, things that wander through my brain. And I remember saying I have so many questions. And I ended up going to a coffee shop. Yeah, coffee. But in Olathe, downtown Olathe, and there was a little poster, one of those flyers, and a little thing, and it was Frank Turek. I don't have enough faith to be an atheist. And he was doing something down in University of Kansas in Lawrence, Kansas, which was 25 minutes away from where I was at. And I flew down there, listened to him, and that drove me to reading the Bible. And I remember going back to the hospital, and I was reading the Bible. I told you you're gonna make me cry. I never told this story in complexity. Like, I went back and I was holding her. I still have the picture. I'll show you after this. And I was holding her, and I was reading some of the Bible, and I melted, bro.
Hell yeah.
I like broke down, like, and I still was all tossed up. So the sheriff's department sheriff's people came and came to the delivery room, and they were standing outside, and I gently put my daughter down, and I just walked out there and I said, "Can we please not make a scene? I'll go with you." And they allowed me to walk through there. And of course, it's they're they have to handcuff you. So they waited until we walked out of the hospital, handcuffed me, and brought me there. And here's one thing that most people don't believe, and I don't care. When I went to the sheriff's department and they breathalyzed me, and they asked me if they can do a blood test, and I said sure. I walked out of there without I blew zeros. And unfortunately, as hard-headed as we are, right, that wasn't the end of my drinking.
Oh, what?
But God started working in me a lot. And I really value, like, for people out there who watch this or who might run into this and watch it, first off, subscribe. Secondly, if you think you're too far gone, and that's the beauty about the gospel, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
If you think you're too far gone, you're not.
Nope.
And I truly believe that. Like, I know, and I'm not going to drop names, but there are churches out there who might not accept you for who you are. And that's a people problem, right? That's the people inside the church. I believe no matter where you're at in life, Jesus wants you to come to him. And that's the beautiful thing about it, is that he didn't come for the healthy, he came for the sick. What I honestly believe is that if we actually look at what he expects from us from like a 5,000 foot view, it's actually really easy. It really is.
Yeah.
It's pretty much love your neighbor, love God. I mean, the greatest commandment, love God with all your heart, mind, strength, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. All, the law and prophets all hang on those two things, right? If you look at it, it's actually in its face it should be very easy to do. You just love people, love Christ, be obedient to him, and live in joy, right?
Right. Fruits of the Spirit, bro.
But we make it so hard.
Dude, we complicate it.
Complicated. And then even I told you when we were in the car driving here, like, I have to be raw. Like, I had a bad night last night, right?
Yeah.
Like, I really did. Like, one of my best friends and I got in a huge argument.
Mhm.
And that hurts. Like, I've been hurt all day because I love the dude so much. Like, and yeah, I still, and I know if you watch this, you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, you're sitting there. I still think it was dumb. Just like arguing with your wife. 90% of the time, it's a dumb argument. I just, we complicate it. That's what I'm constantly going back. It's like our idiocy.
Yeah.
And like, but is, and I know you want to talk about like, but it's so amazing just to, the hardship now is I can never be an atheist again. Like, people always ask, do you ever question faith? Yeah, I question things all the time, dude. Like, but do I question his existence? I don't have that luxury. So many miraculous things have happened in my life that I can't.
God shocks.
Yeah, I can't. But like I was saying, like I live a really good life now. Like, yeah, there's a lot of hardships.
Thank you for sharing that, dude. I remember one time when I was, like, you get in a fight with your homies, it's a different kind of fight. Like, you throw fist to cuffs, you go at it. I'll never forget this story. This is in my active using days, but there's this little bar in Alaska. We all go there after work and hang out. It was always told to me, it's usually a relationship that gets you started in your addiction. It's going to take your relationship to get you out.
Yeah.
And at that point, my relationship was going to this bar after work and hanging out with my friends. I'll never forget this. My homie, Jeff, he's been to a couple of my weddings because I've been married 3 times. So but Jeff, his nickname was Big Naked because he's
something you and I have in common.
Right.
3 times, baby. 3 times.
So Jeff, AKA Big Naked, one of the kindest dudes in the world, just a big old soft teddy bear, but he was a big dude. We were at this bar and we're doing car bombs and we're just going to town on these car bombs. I think between the two of us, we had like 12 each and a whole bunch of other shots of Jameson. And then at the end of it, he goes and pays the tab. There was this dude that came and sat and just stared at me and he was pissing me off. And I'm like, this dude is pissing me the F off. Like,
Yeah.
why is he staring at me? Like, I'm getting mad. Well, he left a long time ago. My buddy Jeff came and sat and I was blacked out.
Oh,
And
no.
Jeff paid the tab. And then he looks at me and goes, are you ready? I was like, yeah, motherfucker. Boom. And I clocked Jeff, who just got done paying the tab. And we get into a big old brawl, dude, in this bar, me and him. And it is all my fault because I was blacked out and just jacked up.
Yeah, that's
And,
crazy.
and like, I'm just like going to town fighting this guy. Cops come, they take me in, and I'll never forget this. Fairbanks Police Department, they take me into the police station. They can't get into it. So
Yeah.
they put me in the little like cunny chuck is what they call them, but there's just a little, patio thing
Mhm.
to go unlock the door. Well, they didn't have, basically all I did was run out when they left. And I book it to my mom's who was living like 2 blocks away at the time. And I run all the way to my mom's house. I'm like ducking cops, like I'm just trying to get home. I get home, I'm hiding out. I call my boy Jeff. I'm like, Jeff, where are you, man? Like, I got in a fight with this dude, and where were you at? You're my boy. You're supposed to have my back. You were nowhere to be seen. Cops came, got me. I was able to get away from the cops. He's like, bro, you fought me, a-hole. Like, you hit me. Like, how am I gonna go to bat for you when you're attacking me? And I paid the tab, you asshole. And I was like, oh dang. Because at that time I got sober. Like,
Yeah.
getting involved with the cops and stuff, you sober up pretty quick. And I was just
Yeah.
like, man, it was just funny. But
That's it.
me and him made up, man. And it's just like, it's tough when you get in fights, like literally fisticuffs with your boys. But it's a different kind of fighting, man. It's just like, you always have love for your friends. You're gonna throw blows sometimes, but then you kiss and make up and everything's all good, man.
I don't know about the whole kiss part, but but I mean, no, I love conversation because you get to you remember different things. But yeah, like it hurts me because of it hurts me because I know the heart of him and the heart of me, and
Right.
our heart is to mentor people the best we can, and we want to honor God in everything that we do. And one of the things that I one of the craziest things about life, that's lifestyles we come back from, and we talked about it over coffee a little bit, and I had time to actually saturate my mind into it and like think
Right.
about it. And you're right, dude. Like, I know I have a different story than and I don't struggle as hard.
Right.
But once I really thought about it, it's like there are times where I'm just like, bro, I like in this finagle I got into last night with him. It was verbal, but it was like my very first thought was, and I was a sucker for spiced rum, right?
Yeah.
My very first thought walking out of the room is, man, I want a rum and coke.
Right.
And it just from that conversation we had, and in that moment, I was like, the dude's right. Like, that's my go-to still, even though it's not really my go-to. And I was like, it was a thing, and I had to talk to my wife about it. And that's always hard.
Yeah.
Like
That's good that you did though, man.
well, I like life,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, your life ends after you get used to come to that noise in your head, bro.
yeah.
Just call it a wrap. Put a fork in it, you're done, man.
But I seriously have. I believe I haven't. I mean, I don't believe. I know I have probably the most, for me, dopest wives on the planet. she has put up with so much that I have put her through. And you were talking about like, being in the military. I'm a combat vet, and PTSD is a real thing. And I mean, us dating and first getting married, I mean, it was like we had a crackpot honeymoon, right? It was like 2 days in the Hilton and go home.
That's what me and my wife did. No
but
joke.
but I remember going home, and we're finally sleeping in the same, because that girl was committed,
Yeah.
like she was like, we weren't gonna have sex, like,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah.
And it was, even though both of us were very promiscuous in high school,
Yeah.
that's another downfall right there. Um, her and I came to agreement, like, I don't want to repeat everything that we've done before, and we didn't. But I remember the first night we actually slept in the same bed, man, and I know she didn't know what to. Whoa,
Well,
that's
dang.
wild. I guess God didn't want to hear. Or, oh, there we
Oh, we're
go.
back. We're back.
Oh wow, that
Dang. That was wicked. That was
was
cool.
what. That was. Satan didn't want us to tell that story. but I, going back to that, I remember laying in bed with her. I had her neck in my hands, dude, and I was screaming some obscenities about Middle Eastern people, and
Because there's a PTSD
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
nightmare thing. And this is what I'm saying. Like, she's amazing. Is that she just. I remember feeling bad and like just kind of like sitting at the edge of the bed, being like apologized and left. And I she just wrapped her arms around me and she goes, I'll never understand, but I got you. And I'm like, what am I, like, unknowingly in my sleep, I'm choking you, and you're still gonna wrap your arms around me and be like, I got you. We're gonna walk together through this.
Mm.
I knew, doesn't mean I didn't screw it up a couple times afterwards, but I knew, like, in my heart, like, this woman is amazing. Um, but but war is a totally different beast, man. Like, and like that's crazy, because if we go back, like, I was violent when I was in high school. I was violent when I was even in the military. And then when you have children, all of a sudden you want to be dangerous, but you don't want to be violent. And
Right.
it's like, how, and like, if it wasn't for God, I would not be able to like shut that off. Thankfully, my wife and I, when we fully quit, right? We quit together 16 years ago, and we haven't touched it since. That's a miracle in
That's
itself.
awesome, dude.
But the battle between, and I honestly thought she was going to struggle a lot harder than I did. And it was actually the opposite, because I've spent in the military, I spent, year deployments, not drinking at all and not feeling any type of anything. But it's different when you don't have access to it versus having access to it. But when she stopped, she stopped. And it was strange, because she, from the appearance, looked like she had a like a worse habit. Like, it was more of an addiction with her. And it was only one time she asked, maybe I can just sip a little bit of wine. And I just looked at her and I said, it's probably not a wise idea. And she was like, okay. That was the only like near relapse she's ever had. For me, though, it was like, hey, honey, I'm going to go to Thursday night drinking draws. Okay. Are you going to drink there? No, honey. And all of a sudden I come home smelling like straight alcohol, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she's like, you prick. Like, the word was actually a lot harsher than that, but
Yeah.
but it was like, and I'm telling you, like, one of my greatest, like, I mean, if you want to say crutches that I hold on to, is I don't like disappointing my wife, because of the type of woman she is to me.
Right.
And so if there's any drive, it's that. I always feel it's important to be a part of a community that has like-minded and people that have been through similar things as other people, I also feel that, and dude, I'm one of those people. I truly believe that Christians, mostly, like faithful people, should be the most understanding, right?
Right.
Like I really do. So when I say it's okay that you relapse, I know it's really not okay, like
Yeah.
the situation. But I've watched you, you know, through your YouTube channel. Sometimes it's how I can keep up to date. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for sure.
And
I'm
trust
terrible.
me, I subscribe. You can look it up. But my wife and I both watch your YouTubes and your Sundays, and
That's
you
awesome,
know
man. I appreciate that.
keep up with that. And but I remember back in Heart of the City, man. Like I remember watching you do the announcement videos. You were like going over to people's houses. Some
Yeah.
dudes are like in the shower, like, here's the announcements for today. And I was like, I remember watching that and being like, dude, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And I like was not like in the mindset of like I maybe I can do that. You know what I mean?
Well, this is a good transition because I think because not only, are you a man of faith and not only, have you walked the recovery path, you're creative.
Yeah.
Like you are a legit creative.
I'm
So
not
talk a little bit about your creative and like what you're doing. Like how do you feed that? Like,
okay. So uh, I always been into art. Art and music have always been my escape, especially growing up as a kid with kind of like, you know, an absent but not absent father. It was always an escape for me. And when things got really bad, music and art was always the thing. So um, we didn't grow up very wealthy. So, you know, having massive markers and unless I stole them, were not really a thing. I mean, we had markers, but man, when you want to do art, you don't want to use those smelly. I forgot the name brand of them, but like
yeah.
the scented markers in the little box. Most of you newbies will never know what those are. Some of you might, but I, you know, they left streaks and it would make you mad because you'd see these lines. But anyway, so I mostly use graphite, and so I got really good at graphite. As I got a little bit older, I apprenticed for a little bit for tattooing. I did tattoos for a little bit, and then I just kind of had to get in my mind because unfortunately we listened to the boomers, and I had to become responsible, right? And but I remember watching your videos at Heart of the City, and I was impressed. One of the I don't. One of the most impressive ones that I saw was we did Outsiders Clothing Company when Josh Nelson filmed
Oh
out
yeah, yeah,
there.
yeah, dude.
I remember sitting there, and you guys go. It's I think it's on your website. You can
Yeah.
watch that video on the website. Um, that freaking. I remember watching you film that, and I mean I think you had like at least an hour and a half of footage.
Yeah.
But you masterfully made like a 30-second spot out of that. And I remember watching that and I was like, dude, that is the dopest thing I've ever seen because you just told a story of the whole entire journey that we had, besides getting kicked out of the coffee shop area. But but you told the whole story in 30 seconds. And I was like, that's insane. And so, knowing me, I get interested in stuff very ADD, right? 20 minutes later, I'm completely away from that. And I start doing art in Anchorage. I did the first Friday walk at Heart of the City. I did the grand opening of Alaska Airlines Center. Like, my art got pretty popular in town for a hot split second. But my problem with that kind of creativeness is that it comes and goes. And when it goes, it's a long period of time before it comes back again. I took motion picture in high school, right? And let's explain this. Like, the editor back then was a VHS tape over here, a VHS tape over here.
Yep.
You would, in order to get this footage, you would record this one and get the footage that you want, and then
Stop it.
stop it. You pull this tape out, put another tape in, and you would like keep on
Yeah.
putting that together to make, or you'd film it and you'd, anyway, it was a long process.
Yeah.
And I joked around, so I took motion picture in high school, and the typical church answer is, "You're hired." So here I am, like, full transparency. I'm like, I've not touched an editor since high school, and now they're completely different. And like, so I jump on Adobe, and I'm trying to figure Adobe out. Adobe's kicking my rear end, and then like, I jump on what is that? What is the Mac one?
Oh, Final Cut.
Final Cut.
Yeah.
I spent like, no offense, Final Cut. I spent like 2 seconds on Final Cut, and I was like, nope, not at all. And then I got on DaVinci, and I don't know if we're allowed to say all these names, but
Yeah, you can say them, man.
But I got on DaVinci, and I learned how to cut my first scene, like just cut it. There was no color grading, anything, but I was so proud of myself. And then I bought my first camera, like with my own money. I saved up, and it was a piece of junk.
That's okay, man.
It was, and I would tell you, it was a Canon PowerShot 540.
That's a lot of people's first camera, bro.
And like,
Or the Rebel.
yeah, the Rebel. I did have a Rebel too. A T2i. I think
Yeah,
it was.
T2i.
Yeah. And I remember I went outside, like, I hope we get into people and influence people. I went outside, and I had this friend at the house I was living at. I was living out in Bayshore in Anchorage. And I call him my friend, but he's this little squirrel because we had a tree in front of our house. And like, he was just so dope because like, if I had like sunflower seeds, I could just like literally put my hand down and he'll come right to me. And that's why I called him my homie, because I'd sit on my front deck sometimes, just put my hand out, and he'd come right up to me and like hang out. And sometimes he'd hang out on the deck with me and not scared of me at all, right? And I just said, I'm going to make a video about this freaking squirrel. And I make this video, and like, my daughter at that time, my youngest daughter, was like, I want to say 8 or 9, maybe 7. And I put this on the computer and I chop it all up. That was like her favorite video for like ever. And then I saw her like enjoyment of it. And I'm like, it was nothing special, man. It was blurred out 1080, focused off, like, but the squirrel running down this tree. And it was just kind of like, and I call it A Squirrel's Life, because I learned how to put on the titles, and like, I'm toying with this. And then I got addicted, because I'm like, I can take these stories, and then, you know, this is like the wife. There's a Instagram reel that's out there. I love it, because it's like, this is like a story of my life after this, right? Go buy a new camera. Your wife will be mad, but you'll still have a new camera. So I remember, the second camera I got was because I was watching a lot of YouTube videos, right? And I was trying to figure out how to do this the cheapest way I could possibly do it. And because I was going to school at that time, I was already finishing up, my college already, and I'm like, I can't afford to go to another college, so I got to figure this out.
YouTube University, man.
YouTube U, man. But I remember one guy, Parker Walbeck, which I really love Parker, and yes, you're LDS. Sorry for offending your faith, but you're a great dude. I love watching you. He said something to me that resonated with me. I remember I reached out about that same time to you about some advice, and you guys both said the same thing. Practice. Just get out there and do it.
Mm-hmm.
And from then on, I had a camera on my hip, like, all the time. Even traveling down here, I got a camera. Like, my camera bag is my carry-on. You know what I mean? And it's like, because I love the fact you can take a vision and make it real life.
Yeah.
And if and sometimes you can take stories, and I really love, like, I dig documentaries. And I saw you sent me one. I'm like, oh, dope, new thing to watch. But the World Cup was going on, so I kind of had to stick with that one.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Clear Sky.
But one of the other favorite, and he's not I mean, he is a creative. I guess you can call him a videographer, but he's more of a photographer. Is Peter McKinnon.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
he's a goat, man.
I love Peter because I watched him when he was doing all his like tricks of the trade, and this is how you use a camera and camera reviews, and he still does them kind of, but imposter syndrome,
Yeah.
right? Like I don't compare. I try not to compare myself to anybody, but one of my and my wife is really working hard with me on it because I struggle with it really hard. Being in construction, you become a perfectionist, right? And sometimes, like what is it? Bob painting with Bob
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross. You know, happy mistakes. You know, one of the things I'm starting to get very okay with is, yeah, that shot may not be exactly what I wanted it to be, but it's useful and I can use it. So just use it. And
Hell yeah.
that's one of the things you know, we're like, I remember one shot I did, it rack focused, and just that rack focus like really upset me, right? But my wife's like, just use it. And then I used it, and I sent it to a friend that got married, and it was a wedding video. And the dude was like, dude, that was the dopest thing I've ever watched. And I'm like, oh, thanks. In my head, I'm seeing all this crap that's all messed up. And
Dude,
you said it's dope.
We're the most hardest critics of ourselves, bro. Like we just, I mean, and the more you spend time in this industry or in this creative passion, you're gonna, comparison's the thief of joy. I fall down those rabbit holes too,
I think I'm comfortable enough to start putting myself out there by myself more. And that's where my next step is just pushing myself out there. So
Oh yeah.
be on alert for YouTube channel.
Let's go.
And mine will be faceless though. I always,
Oh, come on. Yeah, that's fine.
I joke with people all the time, like I am behind the camera for a reason.
If you're here, even if you're not here, you might be tricking me again, like you
No,
did.
it wasn't a trick. But so what happened
I was like,
is,
dude.
well, what I was saying about is why you think I ghosted you or whatever.
No, I didn't. I just thought it was funny because I was like, I thought he was moving here.
Yeah.
Then I see you're still up in Anchorage. I was like, oh, I guess he didn't move. But
So what happened is we came home. We came home real quick, and our last journey here, we found out that Nevada got a scholarship here in Arizona, and we were like, okay, so we're like prepping to move, and we're gonna move. And she was like, at first she was like, dude, I'm totally down. Let's just get out of Alaska and all that. And we got home, and she was like, I want to finish my senior year here. And
that's
we
respectable.
were like, okay. And we just stayed. Man, but yeah, that's why we hesitated and we didn't come down. And now we're kind of in the same boat, but this time it's my son, and he's at home now by himself because he's proven himself worthy to hang out, and he does well. And one thing that we might do, and it's up in the air, is we might just have him stay with my brother, or just stay home and finish his senior year. And for his big moments, we'll fly back up there and be there for him. And because this is which is, you want to get real. My father's sick. I'm not going to expel exactly what on here because of his privacy and respect to him.
For sure, man.
But he will be coming to the Mayo Clinic. He's actually moving here on the 26th. Originally, we thought that this treatment that he's getting was going to be kind of like, because it's a new treatment that they're kind of testing out still, and he's basically going to be a guinea pig for it. We originally thought it was, they're going to monitor him, things are going to be fine, but then he ended up dropping a ball on my wife when he was talking to her. For some reason, he tells my wife more than he tells me. I don't know. But anyway, he flat out told her that the first 3 months of this treatment could be costly and cause more damage than what he's already going through, and that you know, with the loss of my brother, I try and pretend like I don't know the date. I do. 2023. So it was 3 years ago, on our anniversary of all days.
Dang.
He passed away, and then with my mom passed away last June from a stroke. It's kind of like my family's like, and one thing I would like you, like people out there who are watching this, I hope you like put this in here. When your loved one loses a family member, a piece of them die with them.
Yeah.
And I've learned that I want to hold on to as many memories as I can. And if my father's going to be down here and this, then that's kind of putting the push is like, if this is going to be his last, and I pray to God it's not, but if this is going to be his last 3 months, then I don't want to be stuck in Alaska.
Right.
My dad and I were having a conversation. He was bringing up some of the stuff in my past, and that's fine. You know, we're talking about it. And I just told him, like, you know, and he's worried about when I move down here. And I'm like, no, dude, like, I'm going to find a community. It's like going to be the first thing I'm going to do when I get down here. Like, even if it's Celebrate Recovery, I'll jump in. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, just to have people to be able to be held accountable to, because that is the most important thing, is to have people around you to be accountable to. And that's another thing about the Bible that people don't talk about. It often points out, let the big things be big things and let the little things be little things, right? And when I say that, it's like, no, sin to God is like horrible, period, right? We should hate sin. But the problem is that we have as humans is that we are sinful.
Yeah.
And so leaders go through financial hardships.
Yep.
Leaders fail. Is it something, and that's where I always think of, is this something that we can just walk through to correct? Or is this something we have to sit down and really correct? That's what I mean. Like, let the big things be big things and let the little things be little things. A leader not tithing is something you just sit down and figure out. You don't ramrod them. You don't make them feel like there's something wrong with them or anything like that. You just walk through them. Because that's how I would treat anybody else in the faith or anybody else outside the faith. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Another thing about what I'm saying about big things is, one of the things, and this is going to be controversial probably to your audience, and that's fine. We have separated same-sex marriage with, and you can cut this out if you want, with adultery, but yet they sit at the same level. Why? You know? So if I'm going to be welcoming, and this is where people get controversial, if I'm going to be welcoming and want to walk with a guy who cheated on his wife, then I should be equally ready to walk with someone who's part of the LGBTQ if they're willing to.
People are people. Love God, love people, man.
You know what I mean? And some people find a real offense to that.
Mm.
And it's like, okay, well, you explain to me, if they're not going to find a loving Christ in you as they come up to you, where are they going to find it? If all the churches are just like, no, 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 and no, and you want them to meet the living Christ, how are you going to do it? By condemning them into the faith? That's what kept me away before I became a Christian.
Keeps a lot of people away, bro.
You know what I mean? You're a drunk. You're an addict. You're never going to be a good. I mean, I've heard that.
Yeah.
You're never going to be a good Christian. You would. This is not
Going
for you.
to hell.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's like, oh, okay.
I appreciate you.
You
Thanks
know?
for coming in.
Yeah, man.
I love you, dude.
Love it too.
Appreciate you sharing your time.
No
That was a
problem.
big ask, and I'm glad that you came through, dude.
Yeah, I can put the hat back.
Now you can put that on. You could have kept it on, but all right.
All right. Dude.
Yep.
Yeah, dude.
Hug it out. All right, dude.
That was dope.
It was a lot of fun, man.